Nvidia shares are in a correction, down over 10%. It seems a buying opportunity, and why you need to watch clean energy stocks. My name is Jessica Amir, a market strategist with Mumu. Thanks for your company for the daily. But first up, caution is kicking in ahead of the Fed's rate decision. That's on Thursday morning, Sydney time, and that's causing US stocks to come under a bit of pressure. That's why the Dow Jones index, the pin-up blue chip index, is down for the 9th straight day, its longest falling streak since 1978, while the Nasdaq 100 has fallen slightly from its new record all-time high. So what's going on? Well, stocks are still bullish, on track for their best gain since 2021, but no one wants to get a bad surprise from the Fed. So we saw stronger than expected US retail sales released, showing the consumer is wealthier than thought. So investors quickly press the sell button to lock in this year's profits from stocks. But here are 4 considerations that you need to know right now. Firstly, US stocks will probably resume their rally if the Federal Reserve cuts rates by 0.25% and signals 2 more rate cuts are ahead next year. Only 2, because we've got a backdrop of inflation and tariff concerns. Secondly, consider regardless of the outcome over the next couple of days, right now investors are still finding compelling investment opportunities. So where are they finding opportunities? Where they're chasing and buying momentum plays. That's why Tesla shares have hit new record highs overnight, and so too did Bitcoin. Let's bring up the price of Bitcoin. We've seen Bitcoin rise to a new record, 108,000 US dollars for the first time in history. It's retraced a little bit from that, but we're seeing Bitcoin ETFs hit new highs overnight, and stocks that are benefiting from more Bitcoin trading and share trading also doing really well. And that is something for you to consider. Perhaps that's why Coinbase shares are hitting new highs. So too are stocks like Trade Desk and Mumu parent Futu, as well as Robinhood and CME. Third consideration for you, consider that investors are about to be presented with some compelling dip buying opportunities. What am I talking about? Well, we've seen investors rotate out of blue chip names, selling out of Nvidia, and that's why Nvidia shares have pushed into a correction territory. Remember, a correction is when a stock is down 10%. Now, Nvidia is not new to corrections. Remember, we've spoken about this of late, indeed, over the past year. Every time Nvidia has fallen into a correction down 10% or down in the bear market down 20%, it's always recovered and then hit a new record all-time high. So this pullback that we're experiencing right now is the 4th time Nvidia has seen a big pullback over the past 1 year. But just consider this. On the left-hand side of the chart, toward the middle more so, we saw Nvidia fall about 20%, and then it hit a new record. But then what about June? We saw Nvidia shares fall 33%, and then it later hit a new record all-time high. So that's a major consideration for you. Nvidia's recovery will probably happen. Why? Because their results recently showed that companies like Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, they're not slowing down their orders of Nvidia's GPUs. Fourth consideration for you, and changing pace to Australia's share market. The Aussie share market did open marginally high today, despite US stocks slipping into the red. The market is higher, I guess, because sentiment has picked up ever so slightly, with copper, gold and oil prices lifting marginally, while eyes are firmly on battery metal companies. And that's because the Australian government has committed $100 million to a new energy project with Neon. That's a renewable energy operator in Australia. And of course, it's all part of Australia's bigger renewable energy tender, its biggest in history, in fact, with the government attempting to move from coal-fired power to having 32 gigawatts of renewable capacity in place by 2030. And that'll be a record for Australia, that pivot to renewable capacity. In fact, there's 19 renewable energy projects now in the mix, from solar, wind to battery metal projects. And that's something to consider. It'll power 3 million Aussie homes. So far, we know projects are going to be awarded to not only Neon, but also BP and also Andrew Forrest's Squadron Energy. But do consider the Liberal government, the opposition leader, in fact, Peter Dutton has said that he will introduce nuclear power if he wins the Australian election next year. So perhaps that's another reason why you do need to keep nuclear stocks on your radar, as well as nuclear ETFs, such as the world's biggest, URA. For more information on some of the stocks that we've mentioned today, indeed some of the ETFs, head over to Mumu's app. Thanks for your company.